3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
3, 2, 1, go.
If there's a place you gotta go, I'm the one you need to know. I'm the map. I'm the map, I'm the map. If there's a place you gotta get, I can get you there, I bet. I'm the map. I'm the map, I'm the map, I'm the map.
Oh, mate.
Just keeps getting
When
better.
did we get a theme song?
Yeah, we've always had the theme song.
Mate, we've always had one.
Okay.
You just haven't heard it. No, you have.
Was it here the last time I was on this podcast?
Yeah, it was the same theme song.
Really?
Do you even listen to it?
I should re-listen to the podcast. Sagar, where can I listen to the podcast?
You can find us on all podcast streaming apps like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon, and etc. etc. So Lawrence,
It's basically
please
everywhere now.
download, and YouTube, and
Wow.
please download.
Wow. See, that's how you do a marketing plug, Josh.
It's right there.
Smooth segue.
Yeah. Love it. Love it.
Let's get back on topic. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Map. My name is Sagar, and as you guys already heard, this is going to be one of the most loosest podcast episode that we are going to be doing.
What does that mean?
It's already off the rails.
Pause the podcast.
Oh
I need
my
a
God.
minute.
We can't pause it. We can't pause the podcast. We're recording live.
What do you mean the loosest podcast?
Anyways,
Okay. Keep rolling. Just keep rolling.
I'm still gonna keep going, man. Do you guys want to introduce yourself? I'm Sagar, and down on our Zoom call we have Joshua, aka SquishyJoshy,
What's up, everyone?
and then joining us today as well is Lawrence, aka Tempo from TD Project.
What do you mean?
Oh my God, we're like,
It's all uphill from here, guys.
Welcome to the podcast. The Map podcast.
The map.
I swear,
Get me a map, because I've just lost the plot, mate. That was
we're like,
you?
we're like,
Oh,
we're like
okay.
not even 5 minutes in,
Let's
and
get
we're already
into
like,
it before I get back. I lose it again. We got to get into it.
all right, guys. So just quickly. All right, cool. So today's topic we kind of decided to talk about sequels, like mainly unnecessary sequels, like sequels that shouldn't have been made, or some sequels that we don't think should be made. So basically,
Oh, that's loose.
yeah, but like most most of the movies that we came up with, it's our opinion, not, we didn't get it off some internet blogger or something like that. We're not talking about a list that we saw on Google. This is purely based on what we think in our opinion, and there's some interesting movies on this list. We're not going to go through all of them. We'll just go through them, like the big ones, and then that's about it. Yeah, so I'll kick it off. First one that I want to talk about is, to be honest, I don't think we needed a Toy Story 4. Gotta say, that was pretty...
I'm still yet to watch that. Was it good?
I fell asleep 10 minutes in.
I think it's kind of like, if you were to get together as a family, I think it's wholesome, but yeah, no, they didn't need to make it.
They honestly did not need to make it, because you've seen 3, right, Lawrence? The third one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen
So
the 3.
yeah, so number 3 closes out the story so beautifully, where Andy finally lets go of his toys, and you know that's the
Yeah,
closure
could
of
have
that
ended
chapter.
there.
That should have been the end of it. They shouldn't have come up with another Toy Story movie. I don't think it was necessary, man. Or, like, to be honest, like in this one, it was it was nostalgic, but not as much. But it was very, how can I put it, boring to me. I felt very boring, very tiring.
Like, would you say that instead of trying to make a good movie, they just focused on the nostalgia aspect?
Yeah, they pretty much. I think they just focused on like pushing out a fourth Toy Story movie, just because they can, not because they wanted to. It's more because they can, and they can, like, they pretty much have the money to do whatever they want. So they might as well just push out this fourth Toy Story movie, and get more money into it, because I guarantee, we're looking. Toy Story 3 came out in 2012, I'm guessing 12. I might be incorrect, but we're looking. There's about a 6 to 8 year gap between the last movie and between 3 and 4. Within that span, I don't think we need another Toy Story movie. Maybe some short films, like some short animated ones, but like besides that, I don't think number 4 was necessary, to be honest. Josh, you want to say anything?
I feel like they potentially did it thinking that they might even make even more movies after the fourth one, which is they kind of left it hanging like that, like there could be more, but at the same time they didn't need to.
No, they didn't. Like, I think that movie franchise, we can call it a franchise. Like, I think it did what it had to do. It served its purpose. The first one was great. The second one was good as well. The third one closed that chapter, and pretty much we didn't need the fourth one. I think maybe Toy Story 4 could have been like a short film. Like, to be honest, it could have been like one of those short Disney films. Just explains that the new kid basically is like having fun and playing with the dolls and stuff like that, and then she creates a new friend. Pretty much that could have just been that could have been a half an hour short film. Easily explained, done, move on kind of thing. But they dragged it out, and then they had too many storylines happening at the same time. You had Woody and Bo Peep in a carnival, and then you had Buzz and other people looking for them, and they're just people on their separate ways kind of thing. There was no stability to that movie.
I guess they tried to introduce a lot of new characters as well, and then all of the original like classic characters kind of took a back seat.
Yeah, you didn't see any of those like Mr. Potato Head, Rex, the pig, the dog Slinky, and all that. You don't see them a lot, but you see a lot of because they had Keanu Reeves play that character. What's his Nuke Duke. Yeah. Again, it brings it back to they got a big name actor, so they have to pay him money, like big money, so he has to have like a really big role in that movie.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my one. Josh, do you want to go for your one?
What I put on our list. So I actually wrote down Shrek 4.
There's a fourth one?
Yeah, exactly. That's what, I think I watched that one. Like, it was okay, but they didn't need it. And apparently they're making a fifth one.
Oh my god.
There's only so many adventures someone can go on.
Yeah, I know, right? And I feel like Shrek's already got his, like, happily ever after. Like,
yeah. He's got the swamp. He's got his wife and the kids.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, was the fourth one happily never after, or happily something like that, right?
Nah, it's when he finds like all his other ogre friends, and they're all living in like this Like
yeah, it's the one
Enchanted
with
Forest or something.
Yeah, it's the one with
Or he
like
finds other ogres.
Yeah.
I've got to check this out.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no, he doesn't find any other ogres.
Are they all Scottish?
I
No.
can't remember. But so they, I mean, like, Shrek as a franchise was, like, really great for all the memes and stuff, but I don't know if they really needed that fourth movie.
Again,
I think
money,
they
money
peaked with
based.
number 2, like a lot of franchises.
Hmm.
Again, it was probably more the money based kind of thing. Like, hey, Shrek is so successful, let's make another one, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But like,
And what is Mike Myers doing post Shrek? Like, we have never seen him anywhere since then.
They should make another Austin Powers.
That's
They
what I was
should.
thinking.
they should.
But then with that, if
That-
they
that-
do a
we
really
can
bad
make
job,
another, we can, yeah.
yeah, if
put
they
that
did a
in this
really bad,
podcast.
yeah, exactly. If they did a really bad job with it, we'd be putting it on this list.
Oh, definitely, definitely putting it on. But like, okay, so I forgot to say this in the beginning. The blanket warning. There's going to be spoilers for everything we talk about. I forgot to say this in the beginning. This is a spoiler warning. I think before we start this discussion, I will put a little outtake in there and say everything we're going to talk about is spoiler heavy. So just keep that in mind. So I don't know.
Spoiler, Shrek's an ogre.
Yeah, no, but really. But I don't know, Lawrence. Did you want me to tell you the premises on number 4, like sort of like the basic storyline?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
whatever.
So basically, it's Shrek 4 is basically where he has his kids and he's at that stage of his life where he's like, oh god, why do I have kids? Kind of stage,
Midlife crisis.
midlife crisis kind of thing. But like, the kids are like, you're looking at about toddler. They're probably the age between like that 3 to
Yeah,
6, 3 to 7
yeah.
period.
Little kids.
So they're like annoying. They're running around and pretty much back in the first one. Remember how everyone was like terrified by ogres and stuff, and so by the fourth one, everyone's used to ogres and loves them, and they just keep harassing him for like autographs and everything. And
He's famous.
yeah, he's actually famous. So pretty much he's like cuts a deal saying, I wish I never had this kind of life. Like, I wish I had one day of peace. And pretty much he cuts a deal with Rumpelstiltskin.
That guy.
Yeah, and then, but I won't tell you what Rumpelstiltskin's side of the deal was. But stuff happens, and then it's pretty much he goes back in time. Let's just say that.
So he gets to look at an alternative life.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, I should
Yeah,
check this out.
So then that's where we see all the bunch of ogres.
Yogas.
Yogas.
A bunch of ogres. And one of them's played by Charles Robinson. Trudy Judy. or Daryl from The Office. One of those guys.
That guy.
That guy. Yeah. Sorry, Josh. I like cut through your movie. Did you want to add anything else to it?
No, that was basically it. Yeah.
That was it. All right, cool. Lawrence, man, what do you got?
Okay. Let's start with this one. I really like Anchorman, and I really dislike Anchorman 2.
Okay.
Like, I think Anchorman is amazing as it is, the first movie. They could have gone for a sequel, and the sequel they gave us was just crap. Like, I felt the humor was, like, way off compared to how it was in the first one.
Yeah.
And I didn't like that they were using a lot of CGI to drive home the jokes in the second movie. Like, I feel like if you're using unnecessary CGI to make a joke happen, you just shouldn't use it.
Shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But wasn't it like so? Like basically, Anchorman 2. So Anchorman was like meant to be based of the like late 80s, early 90s kind of era.
No, so Anchorman was in the 70s.
70s, right?
And
Yeah.
then Anchorman 2, the premise was
The present day, but they were
them
still...
trying to still maintain their jobs, but in the 80s.
Yeah.
So fast forward a decade.
Yeah. And
So
then,
them in the like the news and media environment 1 decade later. So I think the story they had the potential for a good movie, but the way they executed the movie was just not good.
yep, gotcha. So basically, like, the only thing that I remember from that movie is their new boss, the Aussie guy.
Yeah.
So-
And no one understands
No,
what
no.
he's saying.
So everyone, say it with me. How the bloody hell are ya?
How the bloody hell are ya?
How the blah, blah, blah,
Right,
blah.
mate.
And Steve Carell. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey.
But yeah, that movie was kind
Yeah.
of unnecessary. I think Anchorman is one of those movies that should have been like a standalone. Like,
Definitely. But I get studios want to make sequels because it's just an obvious... It's easier to make money off an established franchise than it is to create a new original franchise. So for sure, like, a lot of these things are going to get sequels. And it had the potential to be a really good sequel, but the one they gave us was just
not worth
not
it.
that good.
Yeah, because it was pretty much first one great for what it was. You know, it was quite different. You had all these weird and wacky characters in there, and then fast forward, they tried to do that same premise again. Like, it's pretty much
Yeah.
like a one-hit wonder that they tried to redo again and again. Have you seen Anchorman 2, Josh?
Nah. I've only seen bits of the first one, and
The movies are
I
bad.
didn't even know there was a second one. So
The legend continues.
Yeah.
right.
Isn't it Anchorman, the Legend of Ron Burgundy, or the Legend?
Yeah, it's the first one is The Legend of Ron Burgundy, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the second one is The Legend Continues.
The Legend continues.
I
Yeah.
may be wrong.
But how good was it in the first one where he's talking about like the panther? This is check out this
Six
perfume.
Panther.
Yeah, just tastes like it. Just smells like piss. Oh man, that was not a good one. Yeah, man. Did you want to add anything else to that, Lawrence? You
Nah.
alright there, buddy? It's like
Hey?
you alright there, mate?
Oh, the thing just fell over.
Oh my god. Alrighty.
What?
So we'll move on. This one, I don't think they should have made this at all. It's Fantastic Beasts: Crimes of Grindelwald. That movie, that was absolute garbage.
That
They
was a crap movie.
should not have made that movie. Should not have made that movie. Where were the Fantastic Beasts?
No Fantastic Beasts.
There was
Oh,
none.
there was one, maybe.
Wasn't there like that invisible one they could find, like that does the tracking or something? Or was that something? I don't know. But anyway, so like,
I don't know.
so this movie was horrendous, and literally Johnny Depp and his bleach blonde skin fade haircut. That was horrendous, and didn't he have like a bung eye as well? Like one of his eyes was like all weirded out and shit. So,
Probably.
yeah. But like, so like the first movie introduces us to this whole new world of Harry Potter, where it's outside of the school. Basically, this is the first time we see like something connected to the Harry Potter universe that's outside of Hogwarts and outside of that, premise.
The Harry Potter story.
Yeah. And it was something completely different, new and fresh. You get to see all these things like, okay, how do these guys live their life in the real world compared to, like, because when we watched Harry Potter, we basically saw them go through school, the entire school grade. And with this Fantastic Beast, this was a complete different story where it was like, hey, there's more to it than Hogwarts. There's like this premise of there's different magic outside, there's different kinds of creatures and everything, and introduced us to all these weird and wacky characters and creatures and magic, and the storyline was really good. But the thing I hated about number one was the reveal that Colin Farrell was Johnny Depp. That was for me. That was just a turn off. They should have just kept Colin Farrell as Johnny as his own character as Grindelwald. But
Mad plot twist.
yeah, I know, jeez. But number two wasn't that great, man. Honest to God, like number two, you really doesn't connect the story. Like normally you have sequels that sometimes it connects the first movie to the second one. This one had no connection to it at all. It's like, okay, so in number one, the guy gets his memories swiped. So basically, he forgets everything. But in number two, he remembers everyone by now. Remembers everyone. Like how? How is that possible? You know?
Like, I feel like we needed a sequel. Like, I think we all knew that once they were making the first one, it was going to be a franchise.
Yep.
Because, like, the Harry Potter universe is mad. And we just needed more stories from that universe that weren't Harry Potter related. That's what the first one gave us. But the second one just sucked.
It literally did. It was
Like, we needed a sequel.
Yep.
But the sequel they gave us wasn't what we needed, what we wanted.
No, it was literally not. And now they're doing a third one. So they've taken Johnny
And
Depp.
they fired Johnny Depp.
Yeah, well, technically they didn't. They like took him off the project. So,
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, and they replaced him with Colin Farrell again. So, so like, I hope there's like some good storylines to it because, I mean, if you are gonna talk about, if you are gonna explore that Harry Potter world, man, like you had the premise of the Dumbledore, the relationship between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. Like, explore more of that. Like, they just give us a quick explanation, but they don't explore into it, and they don't talk about the sister's death in that. So pretty much,
there's a few plot points that they could have brought up that were kind of sort of mentioned in the Harry Potter series.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of like bringing up those plot points, they like threw in some new ones which don't make sense in the context of the Harry Potter series. Because like, if these points were so important, why weren't they mentioned in that series?
Yeah, exactly. Like, another thing that really ticked me off was that girl, the Queenie, where she's with that other guy, and then Johnny Depp is making his big speech about come join me and live a world with freedom and this and that, and you can clearly tell he's like pure evil, and she's not, but she goes and joins him anyways. Like, there's no, they don't build up that thing where they're like, okay, she has some tension, that's why she's going with him. It's just simply like the most random thing ever. It's like, come and join me, and then she does. You know, she's like one of the good guys from the previous movies, like one of the most beloved characters, and then some evil guy goes, come join me, and she goes, okay, yeah, sure. You know? It was like the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah, it felt like some of the things happening, like, the logic just seemed a bit too stretched. Like, it just kind of just happened.
Yeah, and then we find out that, like, Voldemort's snake was an actual human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what the hell? Did we really need that? It was so unnecessary.
Now we got it.
We got it. We now do. Have you seen this movie, Josh? You seem a bit quiet, man.
No.
Yeah. Thought so. And you
Just
kind of do it.
one more thing while we're on this movie. I
Yeah.
think that The Crimes of Grindelwald is a good example of when movie sequels do something that undermines a logic from the first movie. So there's actually there's a lot of rules with regards to the Harry Potter universe. So a lot of them were established in the Harry Potter books. There's also like some Harry Potter world Wikipedia thing out there. I forget what it's actually called, right? But basically all the rules about this magic and the universe is on there.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those that's been established is you can't Accio any live things. Like, you can't Accio an animal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when I say
yeah,
Accio,
yeah.
That's the summoning charm. You can't Accio anything that's living, right? So in the first Fantastic Beasts movie, when he literally lost all the Fantastic Beasts, he couldn't just go Accio this animal, Accio that animal, right? Because otherwise the movie would have ended in 5 minutes. He had to go out and get all the beasts.
Yeah.
And then the one scene that pissed me off in the second movie was when he went Accio Niffler. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, and he got that little creature, wasn't it?
The little mad platypus thing, right?
That platypus slash
that 1 minute clip undermined the whole first movie.
Yeah.
Who wrote that scene?
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
But was it?
And isn't J.K. Rowling meant to be like an executive producer of these movies or something? How did she let that slip past? Come on, guys. There's my rant for that movie.
Yeah.
J.K. trolling.
That
movie was loose.
Good stuff.
That was a good thing. I think that's all we have to add on to that one. Josh, what's your next one, buddy?
Okay, let's see here on the list.
Josh, you've seen movies, right?
Come on,
Yeah,
talk about a
couple,
movie that you've seen. Please talk about a movie that you've seen.
Got here. Okay, so I haven't fully seen this movie, but I've listed this down as well. Thor: Dark World.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, I love the Marvel franchise, especially where it's going right now. But this, as one of the early on movies, was just kind of unacceptable. It really ruined the character of Thor. Actually, his character wasn't even established to begin with. It was only until Thor Ragnarok where his character suddenly got revitalized and rejuvenized. So yeah, I mean, I don't think they needed to have this sequel, but at the same time they probably could have done.
Did that movie add anything to the MCU as a whole?
Yeah, it added the
a couple of
the
details,
reality
but
stone.
Half of the movie is just unnecessary.
Yeah. The only main thing out of that movie was the reality stone. Basically, they finally got another Infinity Stone. That's about it. Besides that, there was literally nothing. And I was so confused about this movie. I thought that red ether was the Power Stone. I had no idea it was the reality stone. I thought it was the power, where it's basically
because they changed the colors in the MCU.
Yeah, they changed it. So because in the comics, red is power, but in the movies it's purple. But in that movie, literally, you do get some kind of character building, but it's not as much with Thor. It's more Loki. So you kind of get a bit of character building with Loki, where he sort of kind of redeems himself, and he can't. But then you see his true.
Yeah, that fake death scene.
Yeah, the fake out kind of thing. You see,
which they pay off in Ragnarok.
Yeah, exactly. But you see him go into his character where he's trying to hide the fact that he's doing well and that he's coping with the death of his mother, but he's not. It was just an illusion, and you see him, he's lying there, he's miserable and kind of thing. So that was good character building in that one. But again, this movie kind of turned off Natalie Portman from coming back and doing any more Thor movies. She was nah, I'm done. You've seen this movie, yeah, Lawrence? You were doing the MCU thing?
Yes, I'm up to. Well, I finished all of them except for that. What's the last Spider-Man one?
Far From Home.
Spider-Man Deported. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. Don't have my passport.
Yeah, Far From Home. That one.
Remember when we nearly got deported?
Oh, don't get me started. We'll save that for another podcast.
We'll save that for another time. I don't care if he's going.
I don't care if he's leaving. He's got to go
He's
now.
gotta go now.
We'll save that. We'll
save that
give
for
the
another time.
context for that one for another podcast.
Yeah,
Make the listeners
Make-
want more.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Now you got to listen to the next one to find out what
Yep.
happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, you were saying, Lawrence?
Saying about what? Oh yeah, no, I've seen. What's it called? The Infinity Saga. I've seen all of those.
Hmm.
Yeah, finally. Took
Yeah,
a while, but I
yeah.
got there.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it is 23 movies, so I don't expect anyone to finish it within like a day.
I
'Cause
have a
that's
lot
impossible.
of continuity and like logic issues. We can discuss that in another podcast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, quick question. How did you watch it? Did you watch it by release date or did you watch it by the chronological order?
Release date.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
I'm a big advocate for watching movies in order of release date
Yeah.
instead of chronological movie order.
Yeah.
So long as you know what the actual order is of them, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I-
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, you go.
No, you go.
I believe that if there's a movie franchise, right, and the movies are released in a certain order, but the actual movies timeline-wise of the franchise are not chronological, you should still watch them in order of release date. Because each movie is released and made in a certain order, each respective sequel is going to make reference to the previous movie regardless of how it fits into the timeline. So you're going to miss out on context for certain things because you haven't seen the movie made before it.
Gotcha. But like,
Like another example, right, is Star Wars, right?
Mhm.
I honestly believe you should watch the original trilogy first, then the prequels, and then the sequel trilogy, and not in the chronological order of 1 to 9. Because if you watch the prequel trilogy first, episodes 1 to 3, they're going to make a reference to a lot of things that happened in episodes
4
to
5,
7,
6.
which you could still watch those movies, but you miss out on all these in-jokes and, like, subplots that occurred from 4 to 7 because you didn't get the context from watching those first.
Mhm. And things like the main things is like how they keep repetition, bring balance to the force, but you don't realize you don't realize in that Star Wars movie that pretty much 4, 5, and 6 sets it up, and then 1, 2, and 3 kind of sort of explain, like, yeah, they were terrible movies, but they kind of sort of explain what they meant by balance in the force and like
Balance.
who they thought the actual protagonist was going to be for those films. Like, you don't see the
You were the chosen one.
I have the high ground now, Anakin.
Power. You know, I
Anyways,
wonder if they
back
would have
to
been better
Thor.
off not numbering their movies.
They didn't. Originally, it wasn't numbered. Originally, it was just called Star Wars New Hope, Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars The Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, they weren't numbered
They weren't
until they
numbered.
made the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Mm.
So when the prequels came out, it was Star Wars Episode 1, Phantom Menace, and then Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, and then they put in Star Wars Episode 4, New Hope. So basically, the original trilogy had no numbers to it, and then once they released the prequels, just so then people, you know, that weren't developed or brought up on that culture knew that, okay, this is 1, 2, and 3. Let's not confuse people. This is this is not the original sort of trilogy. So the original was 4, 5, and 6, and this is 1, 2, and 3. So this is sort of before 4, 5, and 6 kind of thing. So then people would know to watch it. So watch it before 4, 5, and 6 kind of thing. Like, they'll know that it happened before that time period. Otherwise, if
Some
you
of
watch
the Star Wars movies were
Sorry.
unnecessary.
7, 8, 9, definitely unnecessary,
7, 8, 9.
and we don't need them at all. Same with 1, 2,
I
and
think
3.
like half of the movies have the exact same plot.
basically,
Oh no, the dark side's built a Death Star. Now we have to blow it up. That's like legit half the movies.
so basically, 4, 6, and 7 are the exact
Yeah.
exact same movie concept.
Exact same plot.
Like 4 and 7 is the exact same movie. The only difference is
Just with
is
a
the
female
characters.
protagonist.
That's it. Yeah. It's literally beat by beat. It's okay. It's practically Luke Skywalker split into 3 different characters. So that one character from the first movie is split into 3 different. So you have Luke Skywalker, the pilot, which is Poe Dameron. You have Luke Skywalker, the regular everyday Joe, which is Finn. And then you have Luke Skywalker, the Jedi, which is Rey. So they've split that one character into 3. Kind of, you know what I mean? So it's pretty much
Yeah.
like, remember the first movie, how Luke Skywalker tried to use a lightsaber? Remember how he was just an average person? And remember how he is a good pilot somehow? Well, guess what? You get to see him do all that thing at once, but with 3 different people.
Nah.
Anyways, we're getting off topic too much. Let's go back to Thor: Dark World. Let's go back there. Josh, what else do you want to say on this movie, man?
I think that's about it, really.
That it was just
Can move on to
absolute
the next
garbage and terrible, and that guy that played the elf dude, he's literally like, they asked him, would you ever come back for a cameo? He was like, absolutely not over my dead body.
Doctor Who, yeah?
Doctor Who? No. What do you
Yeah,
mean?
wasn't he Doctor Who? David Tennant?
Who?
Who? David Tennant? That wasn't David Tennant.
Oh, Christopher Eccleston. Yeah, Doctor Who.
Yeah. Was he actually Doctor Who?
Yeah, he was Doctor Who.
Who?
Who?
Just say his name, Josh. Who's
I
going
just
on
did.
about?
Christopher Eccleston.
Who?
Doctor Who, man.
Who? Okay.
Good times.
Mhm.
I want to bring up a sequel that they made to a classic banger of a movie. Big Mama's House.
Alright.
Please tell me you guys have seen that movie.
The first one, yes.
It's a classic movie.
Yes. Big
First
Mama's
one
House
was
2?
so good.
Nope.
And then they're like, this guy's funny. Let's have him back for like at least one more movie. Apparently there's a third one. I haven't
Oh,
seen it,
yeah.
but-
I
oh,
remember.
God.
This looks familiar. Yeah, apparently there's a third one as well.
Yeah, I've seen the basically it's Mrs. Doubtfire, but like the hood version. Kind of.
Like, Big Mama's House 1 was so good. And I think the peak of that movie was where in the climax you had Martin Lawrence dressed up as Big Mama walking around the house. At the same time, the actual Big Mama was walking around the house. Because people forget that the reason why he dressed up was so he could look exactly like Big Mama, who was an actual character. So you had both of them walking around the house. So she would walk out the room, he would walk in, he would walk out, she would walk, and everyone was like, what's going on? How is she in 2 places at once? I think that was the peak of that movie for me. And then in the sequel, and going forward, there's no reference to the actual Big Mama. They're just finding reasons for Martin Lawrence to dress up as her that are unrelated to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not necessary. Josh, what are you doing with your backgrounds?
Mate, don't worry about it.
Very distracting.
It's back to me, isn't it? Yeah. Back to me. What can I put?
Should we talk about good sequels?
Not yet. That's another.
Let's rattle off a few more bad ones.
That's probably for another episode. Good sequels, because there's a lot that we can talk about for the good sequels. You know what? Wreck-It Ralph 2. Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet. That was garbage. Hot, utter
Still need to see that.
garbage.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either.
My God.
I've not seen it.
You've seen the first one, right?
Did they need to make it though? Oh yeah, I've seen the
first
first
one
one.
was
The first one
bad.
was,
First
yeah,
one
that
was
was
amazing,
awesome.
right?
Yeah.
So just imagine the first one with all the concept, with the glitch and the arcade and everyone playing and stuff. Just imagine all of that, roll it up nicely, and just throw it in the garbage bin, and you have Wreck-It Ralph 2. That's pretty much it, man. It's literally like... It was so unnecessary. It's like very, very nostalgic heavy at one point. Very like Easter egg heavy. But besides that, there's nothing. Like, can I spoil it for you? Like, not the whole concept, not the whole concept. But,
Josh, what do you think?
but like, no, I won't tell you the whole thing. I won't tell you the whole thing. It's more like, it's the, what was I going to say? I'll just spoil one scene. And it's pretty much the Disneyland scene. That's all I'm going to say. You've seen it in the trailers and stuff, but it's like the Disneyland scene. And that's like super nostalgic, filled with Easter eggs and everything. And pretty much it's like the same concept as what Ralph did in number 1, sort of. Like, how he the glitch and all that. That sort of plays a part. So the last 10 minutes of the movie of Wreck-It Ralph, the third act of Wreck-It Ralph is pretty much beat by beat the third act of the second movie. But besides that, like, nothing else, But it was it was really stupid. Like, I hated that movie. I think they should have just kept it as a one-off. But again, it made so much money, so they had to make a sequel to it. Can't you just leave it alone?
Yeah.
Can't we just have one normal movie? Just like, it's a Disney movie. There shouldn't be any sequels to these ones. No, it's not a Disney movie. Oh, it is a Disney movie. They shouldn't have made a sequel to these ones, man. To be honest.
Apparently there's a bunch of Disney sequels. Like, there's a Lion King 2, a Jumanji 2. There's like all these random
apparently
sequels
there's
I've never heard about.
Mulan 2 as well.
Mulan 2.
Yeah.
She saves China again. I don't know what the plot is.
I haven't heard about Milan 2.
There's a Milan 2.
Yeah, apparently.
Like, no, literally.
Like, basically, nearly every Disney movie has a sequel that's like no one's heard of unless you're like a Disney fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had the another one I wanted to bring up. 102 Dalmatian. Did we really need that? Could we have?
What was the plot? I don't remember.
Didn't they just add an extra dog? Like,
yeah, they're like, here's another dog.
But it's not the same breed. It's a different.
Cruel and Evil wants to hunt them down again.
Yeah, but it's not the same dog. It's a different breed, I think.
Yeah, Maleficent. Yeah.
Maleficent.
No, it's not Maleficent.
Isn't that who it is?
Glenn Close, mate.
It's Cruella de Vil.
Cruella de Vil.
Same thing.
Cruella de Vil.
No,
mate.
Same thing, different time period.
Maleficent's...
What is going on over there?
Nah, mate. Maleficent's from Sleeping Beauty. Come on, son. Get your Disney...
Same universe.
Get your... No.
Mate, is your head in this universe?
Come on. Get your head out of the gutter, son. Alright, Josh, what do you got?
Let's see what else we got here. Okay, did they really need a second Frozen movie?
Is it good? Oh, I've seen it actually. It was alright.
I haven't seen it, but how?
You can't comment on a movie that you haven't seen, mate.
Yeah, but no.
Okay,
here's the thing, right? I thought they could have
Let's
just left it
scratch that
as just the one movie. Like, they didn't need to have a sequel. So
we're not going to
I
talk
want to
about
hear
this.
what you think about the second movie, and is it actually needed?
Yes.
Okay, so I think most sequels are unnecessary, right? If you don't look at them as for what they are, most original movies are good original movies that didn't warrant a sequel, and then we still got sequels. Now, that being said, Frozen 2... Oh, I barely remember it now.
Frozen 2
I just remember there was a rock version of the main song. That
Yeah,
was a
with
banger.
Brandon Urie, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, like, Frozen 2 wasn't as good as the first one, but it was still... It was there, but it wasn't necessary, but it was still not as
not
bad.
necessary, but it was still a good movie.
Yeah, it wasn't,
Okay.
it wasn't
For what
a
it
bad
is.
movie.
Yeah.
What Lawrence said, for what it was a good movie. Besides that, again, new songs, some are catchy, some aren't. So, yeah. Dude, you have to watch movies that you recommend before. Come on, man.
Like, they had a few new gags that were still in the spirit of the characters. Like, I really liked, remember that scene where Olaf essentially abridges the whole first movie in, like, a 2-minute play?
Yeah.
That was mad. And Josh has no idea what we're talking about.
No idea. But the
But
thing is, like, yeah, I feel like they didn't need to make a second movie for it, so...
Yeah, but I reckon if you're going to make that comment about a movie you haven't seen, that comment applies to, like, basically
movie.
every sequel that's out there.
Yeah. that could literally apply for, like, all the good Marvel sequels as well, like Thor Ragnarok. That could be the same thing. Like, did we really
But
need
I've
Thor
seen
Ragnarok?
all of those.
Yeah, but like, if you haven't seen it, like, you could have said the same thing. Like, do we need
I
it?
feel like we can't really count MCU
No, you
in
can't.
this discussion, though, because MCU was already established that we're going to create a super mega universe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, basically every movie in that thing is a sequel. Because they're all linked.
Yeah, like superhero movies, you can't, like, literally, like, even DC movies, like Wonder Woman 89, you really can't. Yeah, the sequel wasn't that great, but they obviously were gonna make another Wonder Woman. It's given, you know, it's given. There is the time
How is that
period.
not in our list?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Oh yeah, so that's why it's not on the list.
But you've seen it, Sagar.
I've seen it,
You've seen it.
but like, for what it was, I still reckon it's better than Batman vs Superman and Justice League, to be honest. So,
Okay,
so,
yeah.
and I gotta say, it was for what they did and the time period that they had to do it in. Not as in the movie time period. I mean, as in the time period that they had to film, edit, and get it out. It's an okay movie, not the best, but an okay movie. But Josh, do you wanna? Lawrence, do you wanna add your next one?
I want to kind of just name a couple in this one go, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Like, it annoys me when you get the sequels, but the sequels are just too escalated past what the original one was about.
Mhm.
So we won't discuss this one, but I think the perfect example of this would be the Fast and Furious franchise.
Oh yeah.
Right, where you started as low-level street racers, and now they're like international, government-backed, like bounty hunter, like mercenaries or whatever the hell they're doing, right? Like the
Agents,
escalation
sort of,
between 1 and 8 and 9 is just ridiculous, right?
Mhm.
But that's like a whole discussion in itself.
Yeah.
So like other franchises that have done this, for example, are like Die Hard, or The Transporter, right?
Mhm,
Like they start as one thing, and then by the time they get to the third or fourth movie, it's just way too different to what it originally was.
Mhm.
So like take Die Hard 1. Josh, you've seen Die Hard, right?
I've seen it. A Die Hard, probably not
You've
the
seen
first
A
one.
Die Hard. Oh my god, which one have you seen?
I think it was the most recent one where he was
Which
like
one was that? Did you see 4
where he
or
was
5?
jumping. Might have been 4, where he's like jumping out of a helicopter or something.
Yeah, so in 4, there's that iconic scene where he drives a car into a toll booth and with the intention of aiming it to destroy a helicopter.
Okay.
But he's just a cop. Like, he's not Superman. He's not like the world's greatest commando. He's just an average city cop.
Yeah.
And if we rewind back to number 1, That's all he was. One of the highlights to me of number one was that they made it really down to earth with this one scene where he actually did the whole movie barefoot. There's a scene at the start of the movie, Josh, because I know you haven't seen it. There's a scene at the start of the movie where he takes his shoes off to try and, like, meditate, because someone tells him, if you take your shoes off and meditate, it'll really, like, calm and center you. So he takes his shoes off, and then this terrorist attack happens in this building. So he spends the whole movie trying to hunt down these terrorists with his shoes off. And that leads to a scene where he needs to walk across this room where there's glass on the floor. And then the scene after that is him pulling the glass out of his feet. Like, it really drilled to me that he's just human. He's just an ordinary person. There's nothing super special about him. Like, he's an above average cop, but he's still human. And then we go into number 4, and he, like, launches a car into a helicopter. Like, get out. Come on.
Okay, just a quick clarification. I think it might have been the 5th movie that I watched, so that would that A Good Day to Die Hard. I think that's the one where he launches the car into a helicopter.
He did that again in number 5. He did that in 4.
He did something like that in number 5. Like, it's something to do with the helicopter, and that was the last movie, I think, out of the whole franchise. So number 5. Looking at these photos here, it looks like progressively with each movie he starts losing all his hair.
Yeah, because it's Bruce Willis. His hair's dying hard.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like, another franchise I'll just throw in there quickly, Transporter. Transporter 1 was amazing. And I think everything that happened in Transporter 1 was with, like, it had a sense of plausibility to it. Kind of like Die Hard 1. Everything that happened, maybe slightly unrealistic, but there's a sense of plausibility in it. And then you end up with Transporter 2. And one of the opening scenes is he's got a bomb attached to the underside of his car. So he's at some, like, dock, and he manages to drive his car up a makeshift ramp, do a barrel roll, and while the car's upside down, he aims the car at a crane hook, and the hook knocks the bomb off the car, and then the bomb explodes just after he knocks it off, and the car lands perfectly. Like, get out. You can't improvise and, like, that kind of a stunt on the fly. There's no way you're going to pull that crap off. Get out. Like, it's just too nuts. Like, it's too far out of the world of realism that was established in the first movie.
Yeah. Like, that does take it, like, towards that Fast and Furious kind of level of...
Fast and Furious. That's the biggest, best, worst example. But that's a whole podcast in itself.
Yeah. And just to add a point on that, our Fast and Furious 1, 2, and 3 app is coming out on Friday. Is already out. So check that out. It's pretty...
Wait, it's out?
Yeah, it's out. But by the time this thing gets uploaded, it'll be out.
Okay.
So, so
make sure you listen to it before you watch Fast 9. Fast 9 your seatbelt.
Fast 10 your seatbelt, mate.
we called it.
They're going to outer space.
Okay, guys. Just a public service announcement. Listen to listen to our previous episode of the podcast, and you'll realize why this joke makes no sense. Because we go in depth into this joke.
For real though, they're going to outer space.
Yeah, number 9.
In number 9.
Yeah.
They already got rocket ships, man.
Rocket Fiero.
Yeah. Number 10, they go into another dimension.
Dr. Strange shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
I swear to God.
He'll do the orange thing with his hands and create circles.
I swear to God. If the cameo... if you know how they're hyping up this cameo for WandaVision, what if it's Dom?
Yeah. And it just ends up being Doctor Strange?
No. What if it's Vin Diesel stepping out from the Fast and Furious universe into the Wonderverse universe, into the MCU universe? I heard you guys have a problem.
Actually, you know what? When that scene comes out for WandaVision, everyone can meme that.
The Vin Diesel
everyone
one?
will mean that so hard because they can just make it whatever they want. They could just make whatever movie franchise they want come into the MCU. Like you could take the portal of whatever's gonna like expand the universe into like the multiverse, and then you can like put Shrek coming out of it if you wanted to. You know? Like,
Alright, is there anything else that we wanted to add in?
So many.
There is way too many, man. Like, just to rally off some, just to go off it. Speed round kind of thing. The Rocky movies. Anything after Rocky was, I don't think we needed. Like
Some of them were okay.
some of them are okay,
But there's only you can only make so many plots out of Rocky.
exactly
Like he's an underdog boxer in the first one,
yeah.
and then in the second one he's an underdog boxer,
third one
and
is
the
the
third
same
one
thing.
is the underdog boxer, and it's like
Like, what? Okay, cool.
you can only be the underdog for so long, mate. Like, and then eventually it and I haven't seen all I think I've seen 4 of them, and there's like what 7 or 8 of them.
No, there's like 5.
Something like that.
I think there's only like 5.
Nah, there's more than that. I swear there's more than 5.
No, there's
Like 6 or 7. Josh, how many are there?
5 Rockies and 2 spin-offs.
There's spin-offs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Creed.
the Creed spin-off is in Rocky.
Oh right. Yep.
Because like he's the underdog in like every movie, and then you get to the last movie, and he's so old, he's the underdog again because he's so old. Isn't
Yeah.
that the plot?
Yeah, so there's 5, and then there's
Yeah, I told
Rocky
you.
Balboa, and then there's the 2 Creed movies.
Okay, so there's 6 Rockies.
6
because
Rocky
Rocky
movies.
Balboa is like
Yeah.
Rocky 6.
Rocky
Yeah.
6, yeah. So there's 6
He's the
Rocky
underdog
movies, and
again.
then there's 2
Yeah.
Creed movies, yeah. That was... that was stupid. 6 underdog movies. What the hell?
If he dies, he dies.
Go to hell.
That's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Predator movies. Oh my god.
Predator 1 was mad.
That was
Get to
amazing.
the chopper. That's like the whole plot of the first
Okay.
movie.
Hey,
Yeah.
Fun,
Yeah.
fun fact about that. So, I think it was Predator had that wrestler in it. I think it was what's his name, Jesse Ventura, I think. So there was a wrestler. So Arnold was Arnold in the second one as well? No. No,
I
he was
haven't
only in
seen the first one.
Wait, you haven't seen the first one?
I have seen. That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, that's the one with Arnold in it.
I only watched it because of the get to the chopper scene. I wanted to see the movie behind it.
Hold on. Let me just look this up.
And I was very disappointed when I saw that scene because the way everyone was carrying on about it, I thought it was like a really big moment. And he just like said it normal for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like he didn't even yell it or like really like emphasize it. It's just him saying it, but he's just got that accent. It's like
Yeah.
Get
it's
to
not a
the
line. It's just
chopper.
him talking.
Yeah.
Get down. Quick, get to the chopper.
Legit, like I think if you watch like any like movie extra like footage about Schwarzenegger, like they'll talk about his iconic lines, and he'll just be like the lines we thought were going to be lines didn't become the lines, and just the casual things I said
Yeah.
became iconic lines.
It's not a tumor.
So like in Terminator 1, I'll be back. That was just him saying I'll be back. That wasn't meant to be a line, and it just turned into a big line that everyone started
Yeah.
quoting.
It's not a tumor. Yes.
Okay, wait, quick speed round sequels.
Okay, cool. No. Just a quick fun fact about Predator. So,
Oh, yeah.
when they were making this movie, they had a wrestler in there, like a current day wrestler called Jesse Ventura, and pretty much he was thinking that he was bigger than Arnold, like comparing himself to Arnold.
Yeah.
And so they made a bet. They made a bet where they're like, who's bigger, and so Arnold paid off the tailor, the guys that make the costume. Arnold paid him off and said, "Tell Jesse that I'm big, that I've got a bigger bicep." and so the guy said it, and pretty much, they tricked Jesse into paying Arnold.
Mhm.
Anyway, so speed round.
Nice.
We have the Predator movies. We have Rocky movies. We've got Grown Ups too.
Yes, Grown Ups 2.
That was
That was so far off the mark from what the first one was.
that was so ridiculous. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. Why name it Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 when there's no more?
The Death Race movies.
Oh yes,
I love Death Race 1.
100%.
And it had mad production because there was like hardly any CGI. It was all practical effects. And then in the sequel, as soon as they have an intricate scene, CGI
Yeah.
or green screen.
We have Pacific Rim 2 Uprising. That was so unnecessary. I didn't think we needed that kind of sequel. I really wanted to watch monsters versus robots again, but you know, it would be great if they introduced Godzilla into that universe. Godzilla versus
Godzilla.
Godzilla. Oh, another ones were something that we can talk about really quickly is the Taken franchise. Like, did we really need four? Is 4 Takens or 3? 4, I think. There's 4 Taken movies.
Whoa.
On the same line of the Taken movies, you could probably talk about the Death Wish movies.
There's 3, by the way.
3 Taken movies, right? Yeah, 3. Sorry, my bad. But it's the same thing. His family gets taken in all 3.
Yeah, it's the same as Death Wish. Like, something bad happens, so he just kills everyone for every movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh, you got anything you want to add? Things you've seen, maybe?
What about things that are planned but not out yet? Like, do they really need to make sequels to the Avatar movies?
Yeah, do they really need another Matrix?
Yeah, exactly.
You really have a hatred for Avatar, don't you, Josh? You really hate that thing, don't you?
It just aged really badly. It just aged really badly.
You just hate it so much.
Yeah, it's like I'm not invested in the universe, and then now they want to make a sequel like 12 years later. Like, why?
It's
Like,
not
why?
12 years later. It took them 12 years to make it because the sequel was meant to come out literally the year after.
Uh-huh.
No, literally.
Apparently, there's a Titanic 2. Apparently.
There's a Titan... What? There's a ship sink again?
It's like, you know the
What's the... What?
you know the Simpsons
What?
episode? You know the Simpsons episode where he's flushing down the spring? It's pretty much that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's like the Titanic hits the iceberg, everyone escapes, hits the springs, comes back up.
Yeah, apparently there's a Titanic 2. I don't know what they were thinking when they made that.
Isn't that
Titanic 2 Re-Resurrection.
isn't that like an animated movie?
No, I'm pretty sure it's an actual movie.
No, like a live
From
action?
last
Or-
time.
Pretty sure it's an actual movie.
Nah, it's animated.
Titanic 2 movie.
It's animated, isn't it?
Titanic 2
Wait, what?
Atlantic Drift.
It's animated. Isn't it? Yeah, it
Okay.
is. No, it's not.
Okay, apparently it is an actual movie.
It is an actual thing.
I have no idea why they decided to do that.
Shane Van Dyke.
Also, they also had the apparently they made sequels to the Human Centipede. I don't know why. They were.
Oh no, it happened again.
Yeah, like why? What else do I have here?
I could imagine them saying that in the movie. Oh no.
Like, to tie it all together, they got to get one guy from the original Centipede, and they just be like, "Oh no, it happened again."
What about the Final Destination movies?
Hmm?
Final Destination.
Ooh, I would really like to
Okay.
revisit that franchise because they put 1 and 2 on Netflix,
Mhm,
which I've never seen before, and I actually really liked it. And I also liked how they built. The second one really built off the first one.
Yep.
But me trying to remember what I've seen, I think it's 4. Is number 4 the one with the NASCAR race?
Yes.
Is that the one where the wheel just like spins and then like just cuts someone in half?
Yeah. That's
Like,
the
I
one.
remember I saw 4 years ago with no context of what the franchise one was. I liked it as what it was. And then I recently saw 1 and 2. And 2 really built off number 1. But 4 didn't really have anything to do with it.
Mhm.
So I feel like going forward in that franchise,
It's just 1 and 2.
Yeah. But that being said, I heard something about the last movie that's really interesting. You guys want me to spoil it?
Yeah, go for it. I haven't seen the last one. I've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it.
Josh, have you seen number 1?
Maybe not.
Do you know what the premise is?
No.
Do you want to explain it to him quickly?
Okay, so number 1, right, is... So these kids are about to get on this plane, and then one of them has like this like flash forward moment, right? And he sees the plane blowing up and everyone dying. So he spazzes out. Him and a few other kids get kicked off the plane, and while they're off the plane blows up. And that essentially triggers like death to come after them, and one by one death tries to write them all off because they all should have been on that plane. So the movie's them trying to escape death, but death catches up to them and they all die, right?
Yeah.
And then I just want to go into number 2 briefly. So one of them survives. Well, 2 of them survive. One of them gets killed off screen in between 1 and 2. The second one survives. The new characters they introduce in Final Destination 2, they establish that they are all linked to the guys that died on the first plane. Like, if they had died the way they were meant to die, these things wouldn't have happened to lead to the people in number 2 being there. Like, they tried to link it in a way. I can't remember exactly how they did it, but I really liked how... Like, I appreciated how they tried to build that.
It just built off, like what you said, it just built off the first one. It was... they just continued the story from the first one without them going a different direction. It was sort of like... They still had the same premise of death chasing after them, but it was more,
and they really tried to link it all
but they
together.
linked it all together. And then 3, it just goes off the rails, and then 4, it's a whole separate thing.
But I'd really like to watch the whole franchise, because apparently in the last movie it ends with the people that need to die boarding the plane that was in the first movie.
Yeah,
and then it goes full circle.
it's just a full circle moment with that one.
So that's why I would really like to rewatch the franchise to see how they lead into that.
Yeah.
To see if like the middle sequels like really contribute to it at all, or if it's just like 1, 2, and the last one.
Yeah.
Like, so 3 and 4 don't seem to link as much as 1 and 2. Like, there are some elements from the first 2 that go into 3, but not a lot. It's not like how 1 and 2 were constantly trying... Like, it's not like how 2 was like, hey, remember this character? Well, this character is... this character is linked to this character. But in number 3, it's sort of like the same premises, like death chasing after them, but a whole different story to it.
I remembered one example of how they linked 1 and 2, right? Okay, so they were meant to be on the plane in 1. They didn't get on the plane, and they didn't die on the plane. One character got run over by a bus, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the second movie, there's a character, and she said something like, I was meant to be at this place. I didn't end up being at this place, and I'm glad I didn't, because if I'd gone, like, a building would have caught fire or something. Something bad happened, I would have died if I went. The reason why I didn't end up in that place was because the bus I was in ran over someone, and we were delayed by an hour. So, like, because the person from the first movie didn't die in the plane, their death got delayed. Because their death got delayed, this person's death got delayed. It, like,
it was
chain reaction itself.
It was like a domino effect.
So they did that for, like, all the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that we should revisit back again. Another one is the... what was I going to say? The Scary Movie franchise. That was stupid.
Oh my god.
They're so stupid.
The first one and... Like, the first couple were, like, really funny. And it's like, now the humour is just so...
Oh my god. It's,
bland and obvious.
yeah, it's...
Like they're not trying
no.
anymore.
The Saw movies as well. I've only seen the first two. So
Those were good.
I can't talk about the
Okay.
rest. But the Saw movies, I'm just rattling things off my head that I've seen recently.
Side note, Josh, the Saw in Saw 1 reappears in Saw 2. Mm.
I've
That's how you
actually
know it's
I've
good.
actually YouTubed like compilations of like every Saw movie, so I know a bit about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
it's-
like there was like a video I watched. It's like how they could have actually escaped the traps and stuff like that.
Oh, we should watch those videos.
Yeah. We should react to that.
set something up, Josh.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
get something happening.
We'll do something.
Maybe we'll make our own Saw trap.
No.
No. Yeah, it's too expensive. I don't have the time for that.
Nobody
Yeah,
has
yeah.
the time for that.
Yeah.
Man. Do you think everyone has time for that nowadays? I doubt it.
Yeah, basically, we are in the trap. You know, social media. That's the trap.
Yeah. Josh, do you want to add anything else? Josh, do you want to add anything else?
Nah, it's all good, mate.
Some of the Pirates of the Caribbean's movies.
Oh yeah, actually that's a good one.
Yeah, I forgot to add that on. We spoke about this. Remember, this most disappointing movie. Like literally, number. I would say 4, 5 are so terrible. Like really, really hot garbage. Complete hot garbage.
The Bring It On franchise. Apparently it turned into a franchise. How good was Bring It On 1?
That was the cheerleading one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an absolute banger of a movie.
Mhm.
And then there were like all these sequels. And I was just like, what are you
Why?
guys doing?
Why? Do we
Yeah,
need it?
why?
What?
Like I think like the plot of the first one was like, we need to win the national cheerleading tournament or whatever it is.
Yep.
And then like the second one's like, oh no, they're cutting funding for our extracurricular activity club. There's a bit of a downhill go from there.
Mhm. What about What about Now You See Me, 2?
They made a second one.
I didn't really like the first one, so I like the second one even less. It was a,
I like the first one. The first one was alright. It wasn't bad.
like it was alright, but like some of the stuff was just like, get out, guys. Like I know you're magicians, but like relax. Like you can't do that. like
They stole money.
like you're magicians, not wizards. Like you can't do some of this stuff.
You're a wizard, Harry. I'm a what?
What, mate?
What, mate?
What are the Madagascar sequels, eh?
They were
Oh,
good.
yeah.
They were good. You can't say shit about that. They were good movies.
All of them?
Yes. Yes, all of them were
What
good.
about this new Jumanji franchise? Were they necessary?
For what it is, yes.
I haven't seen the sequel, Jumanji Next Level,
Hmm.
but I really appreciate the Jumanji reboot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Okay, so
So I will comment on the sequel when I see it.
have you, Josh? Have you seen the sequel?
Yeah.
We can say the same thing. Oh, a sequel that was better than the original. If we're gonna go on that one, I would say is the original Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah.
Was so
Oh,
much
yeah.
better.
Spider-Man 1 was good, and then 2.
2 was
Wow.
amazing. 2 was
Yeah.
amazing. 3, but one,
Yeah.
one was okay, but 2, oh, that was amazing. In staying with the Spider-Man trend, the Amazing Spider-Man, number 2 was hot garbage. Number 1 was also hot garbage, but number 2 was really shit.
Yeah, I didn't like what they did with that version of Spider-Man.
Oh, you know what else is... Okay, cool. Just quickly go back. Just wanted to speed off another couple of movies. The Expendable movies. They were
Wait, good or bad?
bad. First one was good. 2, 3, bad. Escape Plan.
I think they're good for what they are.
They're good for what they are.
They're good.
Yeah, but Escape Plan. I don't know if you guys seen that
There's a
movie.
sequel. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah, there's 3. There's 3 movies.
There's 3 of them?
Yeah, there's 3 of them.
What?
So the first one's great. 2 and 3. 2's not that great. Then we have. Oh, I just had a. Oh, it just reminded me of something. Hold on. The White House, Olympus Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen. That movie, those movies, we didn't need those. The Jared Butler ones.
What about Zoolander?
Wait, those are all linked?
Yeah, they're linked.
I didn't even know they were sequels.
Yeah, it's like Olympus Has Fallen, London Has Fallen, Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah, Black Hawk Down. Yeah.
Oh, I thought they were all just rip-offs of each other. I didn't know they were actually the same franchise. I thought they were just ripping each other off.
It's the same franchise. But
Oh,
but technically,
I didn't know they were actually the same franchise.
but technically, you are correct. They were kind of like ripping each other off, pretty much.
And what about Zoolander as well? Zoolander 2.
Oh, Two-Lander was awful.
They called it
Zoolander.
Two-Lander.
Two-lander.
Zoolander is a classic. Two-Lander, get out.
Nah, don't need it. Alright, guys, I think we should call it there.
Awful.
We're just rambling on a little bit too much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. This loose episode.
That was loose, mate.
Loose as, brah. Off the rails,
as.
mate. So
That
yeah.
was looser than the change in my pocket.
Head on down to McDonald's and get yourself a nice soft serve. McDonald's, if you're listening to this, sponsorship will be great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or anything loose. If anything loose wants to sponsor us, get
Yeah.
a trend going.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, so we'll leave it there for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It was a really fun one. We'll have all the links to our socials down below. If you guys have any questions or any topics that you want us to talk about, please email them through at madaboutpop@gmail.com. Please, I want to hear some feedbacks from you guys, if you, as possible. Share it with your friends and families. Please, it really helps out if you can leave us a review and download as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. See you guys.
See you guys.
Laters, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, no.
Alright, cool.
What a loose one.
I'm gonna
that
stop my
was-
recording, but I'm still recording on Zoom.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
So we're not actually recording the thing anymore. I'll stop my recording.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop.